Glad you're back with us. Time to talk the president's tax plan and get a few more details on what it is, what it isn't. I mean, I know there's some things still out there that we're not sure of at this point. Our guest right now is Adam Michel, who is a policy analyst at the Rowe Institute at Heritage. And Adam, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Well, absolutely. So, I watched this live as Steve Mnuchin and Gary Cohn announced it yesterday, and I've read a few articles on it so far. I mean, I've called it a step in the right direction. There's some things about it I'm not happy with. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It shows President Trump's commitment to cutting taxes for Americans. It's a sort of great way to set the goalposts for the direction we want to be moving. He sets out simplifying the individual tax code, consolidating tax brackets, lowering rates. He proposes a 15% business tax rate, which is badly needed. The United States currently has the highest corporate income tax rate in the world, and that is driving businesses and out of the country and keeping growth down. So by moving in this direction, hopefully we can get the economy growing again and get more money back in Americans' pockets.
Right. So I was thinking about that yesterday because the top tax rate on businesses has been about the same since Ronald Reagan left office, and in the meantime we've had at least 16 years of Democrats in the White House. So I'm not surprised, I guess, that they didn't try to do something about it. But in the meantime, over that 30-year period, countries around the world have lowered their taxes. I just don't know why it's taken us so long to get around to doing this.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. All of our competitors around the world have been systematically lowering their corporate tax rate, which we've seen in like the UK and Canada have lowered their rates, and they've seen growth from businesses moving into their countries. They've seen tax revenue actually go up in some cases because of the economic growth and businesses moving back into their country. And when businesses are investing and growing in your country, it results in more jobs and higher wages. And so it's well beyond time that the United States sort of follows suit and reforms our business tax code, so that we can compete with all the other countries around the world.
Let's talk about the changes for individuals. A reduction of the tax brackets to 3. I still think 35 is too high, but that's one of them. But they also talked about stopping or eliminating most deductions other than the big ones like mortgage and charity and maybe retirement savings. Boy, that flow through losses from LLCs, write-offs for home offices. I mean, do we really know all those details yet of what all they're eliminating?
We don't. There's a lot of sort of details that are missing from the announcement yesterday. From the individual side, I believe they specifically said that they'll be eliminating targeted tax breaks that benefit the wealthiest taxpayers. It's on the business side where they talk about eliminating sort of wholesale all of the special tax breaks. So it's sort of yet to be seen what exactly is captured in each of those buckets.
Yeah. They talked about reducing the regulations regarding tax. I mean, when it comes to tax reform, I think you fail if at the end of it, the book describing the tax laws in the country is still taller than the average human being. I mean, I don't know how much of that they're going to affect with this plan. Do you have a feel for that?
Yeah, I mean, all of the special credits, deductions, exemptions, although, yes, they do benefit some people, whether it's your sort of whatever your favorite write-off is, each of those things adds to that complexity.
Right.
It adds to the length of the tax code. So if we can get rid of those, even though some people may see that deduction go away, if we can get rid of all of those special provisions that apply to just a handful of people, and to lower the rate and consolidate some of those brackets, the hope is that more people will come out ahead, And then there's the sort of icing on the cake that economic growth will be unleashed by sort of a lot of these tax reforms, and that will also benefit Americans across the board.
Yeah, and I believe that when you put more money back in their money back in their pockets where it belongs, and they can spend it as they see fit, you're going to stimulate the economy. I don't think there's any doubt about that, and I'm thrilled that they're doing that. About the AMT, and I think that a lot of people don't have a real good grasp on what that is, but it's been around for a long time. There's been talk of getting rid of it, but nobody's ever had the guts to do it. It's the alternative minimum tax. In other words, if you figure out enough loopholes in the tax law to bring your tax burden below a certain point, this AMT kicks in and you're going to have to pay some minimum amount of taxes, correct?
Yeah, that's basically the way it works, and it's another one of these complexities that we can, if we get rid of, it will simplify the tax code. When you're filling out your tax return, you have to almost calculate your taxes twice. If you use all the exemptions and deductions, and then you hit the AMT threshold, you then have to recalculate your taxes under this alternative scenario, and that makes filing taxes more difficult. Often you don't know how much you're going to owe until you get to the very end of the process. And so one of the great things about eliminating a lot of the special provisions in the tax code is that you don't need the AMT, that more people will just be paying the similar rate.
Yeah. Let me get to the death tax real quick. Actually, Chris Wallace is a regular guest on our morning show here on Thursdays, and this morning he was talking about the death tax, and he said, I realized that the death tax in America, you can have an estate up to $5 million, and it doesn't. The tax doesn't kick in until after that. And his argument was, who couldn't get by on $5 million? And my argument is, if my family has built a farm or a business that happens to be valued at more of that than at the day they died, they've already paid taxes on that. Why should the government get to still be able to take half of your stuff just because you've accumulated a lot? I don't think that's fair. I don't care if you've got $5 million or $5. Nobody should be able to take half of it.
Yeah, I think the way you laid it out there was great. It's both the just because when you're trying to hand your sort of life legacy onto your children, the government shouldn't be involved in that decision. But also that you've already paid taxes on all of that accumulated wealth. That if I'm pulling a paycheck my entire life and I save a little bit each year that I want to give to my kids, or it's wrapped up in a family house or a farm, when I pass away and want to hand that to my kids, I've already paid taxes on that, and the government really shouldn't have a claim to taxing it again, double taxing it, or even triple taxing it in some cases. Yeah,
and the argument on the left is always, that you didn't earn that or you didn't build that or whatever the case may be, and you owe that back to the government. That's just moving the money from one pile into somebody else's pocket, and that's something I've always been opposed to. So when do you expect we may get more details on this, more specifics? Do you have any idea?
They haven't really said in the rollout. They said they'll be holding meetings and listening sessions to get feedback on the plan, working with Congress, and the House GOP has a plan out as well. So I'm sure there'll be discussions and reconciling the differences, and then they'll move on from there.
All right, very good. Adam Michel with the Roe Institute at Heritage. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. You can find out more about Adam's thoughts on this at heritage.org. Let me get to Zach. Zach, I only got about a minute left in this segment, but I didn't want you to have to hold on again through the break. What's on your mind?
Sure, I'll be as brief as I can. As usual, I'll call on to question you about the Constitution. So, briefly, I just want to put it out there for you to discuss, and everyone, well, for one, healthcare, I don't see anything in the Constitution that gives them a right to replace. They definitely should repeal.
Yeah.
It was always unconstitutional. They don't have any business in healthcare. And that brings me to the more important point. The Federal Reserve and the federal income tax is also very unconstitutional, and that's actually specifically outlined in the Constitution.
Well,
And to that point, they'll say, we had an amendment. But if you look at the records, only 38 states ratified the Federal Reserve.
Zach, I got to run. I appreciate you bringing that up. Maybe we can happy to take phone calls on it in the next hour. We're going to talk to John Karch from Americans for Tax Reform and your phone calls after the break.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness, NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
Hey, it's starting to be that time of year when you're wanting to get outdoors with your family on the weekends or maybe go for a ride on the Katy Trail. And if you're going down Highway 94 toward wine country there around Defiance, I want to tell you about my friends at the Sugar Creek Winery. It's convenient. Honestly, it's one of the first wineries you're going to come to as you leave Defiance. You know where I'm talking about, that big bend in the road down there. Ken and Becky Miller have turned this place into something spectacular. They've got venues for weddings. They've got outdoor music on the weekends. Even if it's raining, they've got a big undercover patio where the music continues. This is a working winery where you can find your favorite wines. They don't serve food, so feel free to bring a picnic basket or whatever makes you happy. Stop and see them at Sugar Creek Winery. Go to their website at sugarcreekwines.com or call them at 636-987-2400.
It's the place there's no place else like. Home. It's the circle of chairs around your fire pit, where all the do you remembers get passed around like bowls of ice cream. It's bacon and eggs in the skillet, crackling along with the laughter. It's the picture in the hall of your great-grandfather, whose mustache he willed to your son.
At Shelter Insurance, we don't just insure your home, we insure all the memories that live inside it. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
You're seeing it on social media? Real estate agents are yelling it from practically every rooftop. And it's true. Buyers can't find homes. And if you're a seller, that's great news for you. Home inventory right now is extremely low. I'm Christina Straight, and I'm the owner of Straight Realty. And I'll get your home listed on the MLS for only 4%. Listing for 4% doesn't make you cheap. It just makes you smart. Why pay more than 4? Call 314-441-4444. 441-4444.
It's the final days of Mattress Firm's once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's your last chance to save up to 70% off Tempur-Pedic and Sealy. Plus, take up to $2,000 off floor models from Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Hampton & Rhodes, and others. We're liquidating every Tempur-Pedic and Sealy in stock to make room for the next generation of innovative sleep products. Only at your local Mattress Firm while supplies last. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/circulars. Product offer and prices may vary in Hawaii.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly, St. Louis's home loan expert. There's a lot of choices out there when it comes to refinancing or buying a home. What makes the home loan expert team the best? Well, that's easy. Lower rates, better loans, no out-of-pocket cost, and you can skip a few months of mortgage payments. Refinancing or buying a home? Why would you go anywhere else? Call me directly, 314-781-9700. Or you can always apply online at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert, LLC. Missouri Residential Mortgage Licensee.
KFTK FM, Florissant. KFTK AM East St. Louis. K254CR St. Louis.
The Mark Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk 97.1.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Police in Delaware just confirming that the man who killed a state trooper in a convenience store parking lot yesterday fired multiple rounds at close range after the trooper had fallen to the ground. Governor John Carney moments ago.
This is a very sad day. I stand before you with an aching heart.
He's urging people to be mindful of the risks officers face every day. The suspect was shot and killed in another confrontation with troopers today following an all-night standoff at his home. A baby girl reported missing in Illinois is found dead in her own home. Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso, live in Chicago.
Lisa, the search began Tuesday for 16-month-old Samaj Crosby, who family members say wandered off from their home in Joliet Township. That's also described as filthy and filled with squatters.
We were interviewing the mother at one point in the morning, and that's when the lawyer interjected himself in the case.
and cut us off. And at that point, he told us we were not allowed in the residence without a search warrant.
Will County Deputy Chief Rick Ackerson says they were later given access to the home where the girl's body was found. An autopsy is planned. No one is charged right now in what police call a suspicious death investigation. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. The White House facing another round of questions about fired National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and denies trying to hide anything.
When General Flynn came into the White House, he had an active security clearance that was issued during the Obama administration with all of the information that's being discussed that occurred in 2015.
White House spokesman Sean Spicer moments ago. Flynn's accused of failing to disclose payments from Russia for consulting work. Facebook making a stand against fake news with new measures aimed at cracking down on efforts by governments or non-state actors to sway public opinion with disinformation campaigns. A report from Facebook's top security and intelligence team says they'll monitor suspicious activity. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Blue the Dog here for propane. Making the rounds with my owner, the propane man, has allowed me to see a lot. I may just be a simple dog. I didn't attend the elite boarding kennels, and you'll never see me on Barking with the Stars. But I do know that propane is the smart fuel that lets millions of Americans live where they want and how they want. It's clean, reliable, and powers modern appliances from tankless water heaters to high-efficiency furnaces. Learn more at proudlypropane.com.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get to grassity. Want to mow well in the higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
97.1 News Time 103. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. Police are investigating a triple homicide in Pine Lawn. 3 men were shot to death yesterday in the 4500 block of Rosewood Avenue. The victims were identified as Calvin Walker and Andrew Green, both 29, and 23-year-old Marquise Cooper. The suspects are still at large, and detectives are looking for 2 vehicles they believe are connected to the shooting. State employees will earn their pensions in half the time it used to take after the State House voted yesterday